Midnight's here in spirit. All right, Jo, are you ready?
I'm ready to play 20 questions.
Love 20 questions.
I'll take question number 1 for 100, please.
All right. Now that we have the concept art for the Flame Stalker in the game model, will you add a mesh for different horn types on its head as it grows, similar to what you've done with the placeholder wyverns?
We don't know yet. Each dragon's going to be unique. It's going to be different. The models will be different. Some models will have gender dimorphism. I know it's been brought up about what about females with horns? Well, we might have some dragon species where the females are larger than the males. We might have some of the males are larger than the females. We might have some where they're both the same size. It's really easy to do, but right now we're just focusing on the adult model of each dragon, and we want to get the concepts done for the main 3 starter dragons, as well as the Acid Spitter and the Kickstarter dragons. That's our main focus right now. So after all that's done, we'll figure out what we want to do with the horns.
All right. Second question. It shows that the Flame Stalker's class is Hunter. What exactly do classes do and mean? Do they give specific bonuses to stats depending on the class? And will we be seeing different classes in the future? If so, what will they be?
Yes, the Hunter class. That's a specific type of each. There's different classes, and I say a lot, so don't criticize me for this. When I say it means I'm thinking. I have a list of the classes here somewhere. I think they're in Parrot's notes here. I gotta find it. But we have the Hunter class, we have the Behemoth class. Those are 2 classes that we've revealed so far. The Hunter class are more of a solo type dragon. There's nothing stopping them from being in a group. I mean, they can, but they are, they're very capable on their own. They're able to hunt and, hunt down their own food, and they're not, they have abilities that fall within a predatory. All dragons, are able to, get food, but these are like, they specialize in hunting other dragons. And then, like the Behemoth class, these are very large dragons, the largest dragons in the game. So they're in their own class, and they're slower, very large. They grow very large. The Behemoth class dragons reach their alpha stage on their own. There's no special gameplay mechanic, but they grow very slowly, all of them. So and so far we've confirmed the Behemoth Ice Drake, and then there's also going to be a Behemoth Fire Dragon, and that's all we've confirmed right now. But there are different classes. We will be revealing them, as the concepts are done, and then we'll put them in the what's that channel name up there? Creature database. So you'll find out what the other classes are as things progress.
All right. Now, what kind of system effects will there be for showing the damage on the dragon? Like, will they get more and more scratches on them when they get damaged, or something else?
That's something that it's something that I would look at, like after the combat system's in, after we hit our EA release date, after all the main mechanics are in, because that's kind of just eye candy. So that's something that I would add in later if I was to add it. And I do like, the blood system, like there's, you can see that there's damage, and I think it'd be cool to, show like ripped wings and things like that. But I'm not really thinking about that right now. I got a lot of things that I got to do before we get to that stage, but I do want to have like some kind of damage, visible damage system on the dragons. Exactly what, I don't know yet.
Okay. What are the plans for the skins other than the exclusive skins? Is skin color limited to a specific color scheme for each dragon species?
Um, so each dragon has a pattern, a color pattern, and there's 3 to 4 base colors per dragon. And when we talk about skins, basically it's the coloration of those different pattern parts of their that make up their color. So like the flame stalker, it's got those oranges and the greens in there, and the yellows. And so to apply a skin, you basically change the coloration of each thing. Like the orange would become like a blue, or the orange could become a black, and the yellows could become a white, or so it makes different skins for each dragon. And then so there's going to be a lot of different skins. Like I've said before, there will be common, which have a high chance of spawning when you hatch. There'll be uncommon, which has not as high a chance. Then there will be rare, which has a small chance. And then there will be exotic, which, um, to become an exotic color skin, it'd be kind of like the Oreo pattern that we've mentioned before, where somebody with a white dragon skin, the black dragon skin, and they have they have eggs, and then you get an exotic, kind of like a hybridization skin pattern that comes out of that. So um, that's something that you would have to mix and match color patterns to get certain exotics. But so the plan with the exotics is they would just they wouldn't pop out in a when you spawn into the game. It would be more like this skin has to breed with this skin, and then you might get an exotic baby out of that.
Alright. Will there be anything preventing alpha dragons from obliterating other dragons? Will they be both stronger and faster than non-alphas? In short, how will you balance the alphas, if at all?
Um, an alpha can definitely kill a non-alpha depending on what species. Like, let's say there was an alpha micro feathered dragon, which I don't have any plans to have an alpha micro feathered. But if there was an alpha micro feathered dragon, it's not going to be able to uh, kill a juvenile behemoth ice drake, because the ice drakes have a lot of health. They do decent amount of damage even as a juvie. So uh, it depends on the dragon species. But if it's, let's say it's an alpha flame stalker and a adult flame stalker, the adult really doesn't have a lot of chance, because the alpha flame stalker is going to do more damage. He's got more health, maybe just a little bit more speed, and he might even have more abilities. So the alphas are definitely going to be a lot stronger and more. I mean, they're an alpha, so they're going to be dominant. Um, as far as like obliterating everybody in the server. Um, an alpha isn't going to be able to kill every dragon on the server because people would gang up on them, and even in their adult stage, they still, you get enough adults and it'd take out an alpha. So it's not like they're overpowered. They're just very strong, especially in 1v1s, 1v2s. You know, once you get to about 3 adults, it's going to kind of balance out. But then if, you know, there's going to be other alphas on the server, so it's not like if you have an alpha, you're the only one that has an alpha.
All right. Also, would the developers consider implementing some sort of defensive abilities specifically for adults to help protect hatchlings? Something maybe like implementing where the bigger target may somehow be hit uh, instead of the younger dragons, to protect and care for and cover.
I think this question is kind of like in the aisle where, a parent will kind of lay on top of their baby and try to protect them, but then, a raptor can just kind of like run in from behind and bite the baby, through, because there's no collision. And, doing collision in a PvP type game is really, really hard to do, because it creates a lot more problems than it solves. So, there's probably not going to be collision. So you could be a behemoth ice drake and be sitting on top of a baby behemoth, and somebody could maybe go ahead and run, inside you and start chomping on the baby you're trying to protect. I think that's what the question is talking about. I'm not really 100% sure how to solve that issue, without having collision to keep people from going inside of another dragon, unless there was a way to make the baby immune to damage while, you know, say it's the baby's resting and the mother's resting on top of it, and then I could do like a check to see if the mother is overlapping the baby, and if it is, maybe turn damage off on the baby and have all damage that would be going towards the baby go to the parent. So, I mean, there's things I could do, um, just to fix that, but uh, there's not, without enabling collision, there's really no way to keep a small dragon from running inside of a big dragon and chomping on the baby, unless I did like some kind of damage protection or damage transference.
Hmm. Will the biodragon breath also bring about bioluminescence to the environment as well?
There's no plans at this time. Actually, never even thought of that. It'd be kind of cool if certain trees could be bioluminescent, or maybe walls of caves to kind of light the cave up. That'd be kind of cool and give the biodragons another use. But the plan right now is just for it to affect creatures. But that might change.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Will any other programmers be brought on board for this project?
As I've said before, if I need them, um, I already have a couple that have contacted me. One particular one that works for a AAA development studio, and the help's there if I need it. But so far, I haven't run into anything that I haven't been able to do myself. So.
Mm-hmm. If you've read through Make Suggestions channel, what's your favorite idea?
Uh, I think my favorite suggestion is the one that says, Jay would get more sleep.
Sorry.
Sounds pretty legit. All right. Once the full 30 dragons are released, how many are you planning on, how many are planning on being free? Or a ratio, maybe. I assumed at least half or more previously, but from the recent messages, it's come into question.
Um, Out of, if we get to 30, I'm hoping we do get to 30. I don't really have a hard number on which ones will be free and which ones will be a DLC. Obviously, we got to keep support coming in for the game. We're not going to make every dragon we release to be a DLC. Some will just be added. If a dragon is coming in the game that is kind of like a necessity, as far as balance goes, it would be something that is just put into the game for everybody. But if it's something that is kind of more of a help, it's kind of nice to have it, but it's not really needed. It doesn't break the game, but it helps, then that would be something more we'd probably do as a DLC. But for instance, we got Kickstarters with um, like the Nurse Dragon. That would be, that's not necessary to have in the game. It helps, but it doesn't break the game. So uh, something like the Nurse Dragon with its abilities, um, that is not something that I would have to put in the game for everybody. So that would be something. Not that we're not selling it. Somebody's gonna. I know somebody would say they're going to sell the Nurse Dragon. No, I'm using that as an example. But the Nurse Dragon would be such a thing where that type of a support type dragon, that's not necessary. So it's not something I'd have to make for free. The acid spitter, it's not necessary. It helps, especially if you're fighting alpha creatures like elementals or the giant sandworm or something like that. But it's not OP and it's not necessary. So that's something that we can make as a DLC. If we come out with a dragon that would be game breaking, or not that we're going to put one in that's game breaking, but something that would just kind of unbalance things if only certain people that own the DLC could have it, and it's not, it wouldn't. That's not something that we would put in as a DLC. That would be just content added to the game, so that it add to the 3 free dragons. So as far as like overall in number, I really haven't thought of um, an exact number. I'm just being honest. The devs would look at this and would say, um, you know, is this something that we can add to the game, or a lot of it has to do with the abilities of the dragon, which dragon it is, and where we're at as far as funding goes, and our budget. So which dragons we release in which order has a lot to do with. We might not even stop at 30. We might add more dragons than 30. But I can't give a hard number, because if I did, then somebody's going to say, he said it'd be this many free dragons and this many are supposed to be DLCs, and I can't give a number. I just know the only information I can promise is that if it's a necessity type dragon, it will definitely be free. And if it's not something that everybody should have access to, unless they get the DLC, then it, that's something we could add as a DLC.
Okay. A while ago, somebody made a suggestion for a honey dragon. It would be spit out a fiery hot honey, and it would harden their opponent, and they would only eat flour. They would be really tiny and everything like that. Do you think it would become a real thing?
Well, there's the micro feathered dragon, and you know, it we might it would the thing with like the Kickstarter dragons. If there is something that is unique for Kickstarter, there's going to be something similar to that. We're going to add to the game. It'll be different, but it'll be similar. So, like the Kickstarter backers, they have the micro feather dragon. So we might add more micro dragons to the game. Um, and same with like the behemoth ice drake. That's not the only behemoth dragon that's going to be in the game. We've already talked about the behemoth fire dragon. So, micro honey dragon, whatever, it's possible. Not, I don't know what a honey dragon would look like, but we are going to have probably more micro uh, dragons.
I think they would be cute, just like buzz around everywhere. All right. Someone had a concern that DoD would be like another game where the devs have special creatures that no one else can use and make appearances only on big name streamer servers or give them special treatment. Will devs be doing that, or will they stay more to official servers and not make exclusive for streamers?
We have talked about developer dragons or a developer dragon. Maybe it would look like a hamster. I don't know. But it would, if we did a developer dragon, it would be a weaker dragon. Um, Maybe a cosmetic dragon. But we do plan to do like nesting events on our server, on the official servers. And as far as like whether they would be available to other private servers or not, I don't know. But I'm thinking we might have at least one developer dragon. It kind of it makes the devs very recognizable when they're in a server, whether it's an official server or a private server, and it also allows us to do nesting events that people would actually want to be a part of if we wanted to nest people in as a developer dragon. And then we could start the species on a server, and we wouldn't restrict it to official servers or specific YouTube streamer servers. If we did it, it would be people would invite us. If people invited us to their private server to start an invasive species event on their server, and if we had time in our schedule, we would be happy to oblige, and then they could try to keep their population going. But it wouldn't be something that the admins could spawn. Only developers would be able to spawn this developer dragon.
Will the hybrids have higher base stats? Will they be able to fly faster with their wings since it's a crossbreed? And will it have 8 limbs or 6 limbs? Or 2 front, 2 back legs with 4 wings, 2 back legs with 4 wings? How's that going to work?
The hybrid is going to have 4 legs and is going to have 4 wings. And the wings will be on top of each other. And as far as like its stats, it's going to be a larger dragon. It won't be a behemoth size, but it'll be one of the larger dragons in the game. And as far as like its exact stats and all that, I won't know until the model is done and I've started balancing it.
Will there be natural disasters such as tornadoes, floods, volcanic eruptions?
There's no plans on doing any kind of map destroying events like that in the game.
Will it be possible for an adult dragon to be able to carry a baby dragon? If a family is getting attacked and they have babies, they gotta at least be able to carry one to safely, right?
I do plan on adding um, the ability for parents to pick up their babies. Um, it'd be similar to like in Ark where a flyer can pick up a person and carry it. So it'd be something like that. But yeah, I plan on doing that in the game sometime in the future.
So we see a lot about breath attacks, but what about melee, like tooth, claw? Will some dragons be more breath orientated, or will some be more physical?
Definitely. Some dragons will have very strong bites. Some will have very strong elements. They're fire or plasma or whatever. So, um, for example, the flame stalker um, has some pretty hot fire. He doesn't have the strongest bite. The fire wyvern, we haven't really revealed its name yet, but um, the fire wyvern, he has a very strong bite. His flame is not as damaging as the flame stalkers. So it just depends on the species.
Is there already a plan for making it possible to glide as teenage dragons before we can fly as an adult?
I mean, it's possible. It's something that, I mean, it's basically you're just a jump, and if you're in the air, allows you to go into glide mode, but not be able to fly or raise your altitude any. So you just kind of glide back down to the ground. I mean, it's easy to do. It's a good idea. I might do it.
Is there any plans to add any emotes or body gestures for the dragons in the game? Or will it likely just be restricted to calls?
Yes, we have plans on having um, lots of emotes. So um, I don't know how many lots is. It's going to be more than a couple. Um, there will definitely be the threaten, the friendly, the submission. Um, those will definitely be in. There's talk of doing like a mating dance emote, just for role play. So we might have some role play. Um, we probably will have role play emotes. Which ones exactly all is going to be in the game, we don't know yet. But emotes are pretty easy to do. So I mean, it's just an animation, maybe some sound effects. So yeah, we're gonna have emotes.
Right? Are there going to be mechanics in the game that make this more than an eat, grow, fly around, fight a boss, die kind of game?
Yeah, because if that's all you do, you'll never reach the alpha stage, and you'll also never unlock an elemental. Um, so, there's going to be caves that you might want to explore. Um, there might be there might be NPC dragons in the game in places, so that you might be able to interact with.
All right. So that is it for our 20 questions, but I'm going to hand it over to Gina here, and we're going to answer some questions on her Twitch.
Because that was a really fast half hour.
So I will take questions off of Gina's Twitch stream. Gina, if you get some that you want to ask. I got 30 more minutes, 29 more minutes in the dev Q&A here.
Someone did ask about carrying food. I know that has been discussed occasionally, and I was curious to see or to get the answer in a Q&A.
Probably not. But maybe. I'm not sure yet. Now I might have a mechanic where you might be able to puke up some food for your babies to eat. With an emote, maybe do a puke emote, and you can puke up some food, and then there's a pile of, wonderful regurgitated dragon or AI on the ground that the baby can then eat from. But carrying corpses, I don't know if I want to do that. It's mostly a performance issue. It could, I'm just not sure. It's possible to do that, but I don't know if I want to do that.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna just be picking random questions that I think the community would like to hear answered. So if I skip over your question, I apologize. If a dragon is hurt, will they be slowed down? Like, would you get rewarded for being the first to deal damage in a combat situation?
There's status effects like stun. Your dragon can be stunned. It can be knocked out of the air, fall to the ground. As far as like slows and yes, as far as gimping and limping and broken bones, I don't know. It's the broken bone mechanic can be very overpowering. If you break your leg, you're very, very vulnerable. So, but then you're a dragon, so should you be able to fly with a broken leg? Or are we going to have broken arms? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with the bone breaks, if I'm going to do that at all. But there will be slows, there will be stuns.
Someone was asking if we have any more details about the animator and if they are signed on yet, when etc.
I talked to the animator a couple weeks ago. They are currently in a contract with somebody else, and they are freed up at the end of next month. They are still interested in the Day of Dragons project, but as far as talking, contract and all that stuff, we can't do that until the end of December.
Awesome. Will there be Chinese dragons? I'm assuming they mean lung dragons. Like long dragons without wings.
Like worms.
Yes.
Flying worms.
I mean,
It's
theoretically,
possible.
they don't even have to fly.
I'm kind of staying away from stereotype, dragons like Eastern, Western, stylized, dragons. I want every dragon we make to look really cool and look custom and, to be recognizable as, hey, that's a Day of Dragons dragon. I like what they did, like in How to Train Your Dragon. I know it's animated and all the dragon designs are all exaggerated, really big eyes and skinny necks and big faces and things like that. But I like how diverse the designs are in that game or in that movie. They didn't like say, well, this dragon has to follow this style and this dragon has to. There's so many diversely looking and unique dragons in the How to Train Your Dragon movies. That's what I want for our game, is all the dragons to be unique but yet recognizable as being a Dave Dragon's dragon.
Awesome. Kimmy asks, what has been J.O.'s favorite part of development so far? Either like the music, working with other people with his same interests, the community, doing your dream job, whatever. What's your favorite part about it so far?
I can tell you what my least favorite part of it has been. And I used to answer that question with all of it, but I can't say that anymore because there has been some very there's been some parts of this that I don't like at all, and it has to do with the YouTube. But as far as like what I really enjoy about it, I enjoy the community interaction. I enjoy working with my friends. Enjoy working with these other developers that a lot of talented people. I enjoy watching the game progress and grow. Um, we got the music. I got to listen to the entire 1.5 hour recording session of the first 4 tracks, as well as the trailer, gameplay trailer music. You guys have all heard that. I get to develop dragons. Work with Jahao and Vat and Rose and Parrot and Midnight, and we get to design the dragons, and then Simon brings them to life with all these cool noises and sounds, and so I've really enjoyed the development side of it. Kickstarter was a big headache, but it was a necessary headache. I enjoy the community. I don't enjoy the trolls, but I do enjoy the people that are here for the game and have been supportive. But yeah.
Let's see. Oh, someone asks, I am deaf. Will there be subtitles or something similar so I can understand the game? Do you mean like sound cues? Text-based sound cues? Because, I mean, there's a text chat system already, so you'll be able to hear people talk or, see people typing.
What was the question?
The question was, is there going to be, wait, where'd it go? Will there be subtitles or something similar so that I can understand the game?
For like deaf people?
Yes.
Um,
I never even thought about that.
Like vibrations?
Well, because...
I mean, there's not going to be any voice acting, at least it's not planned to have voice acting in the game. Why would we need voice acting? But if there was a story in the game, it would probably be text, type. You could read it. That's if there was a story in the game. I'm not confirming that there is, but if there was, so you wouldn't need subtitles because you could read it. Now if there were like voice actors, then we would have subtitles so that you could read what the dragons are saying.
Awesome. I took a drink and it went down the wrong pipe. J.O., you mentioned that you were avoiding using magic as an explanation for things and opting for a more biological scientific option. What made you decide that?
Because, well, you don't need magic when you have nature. Uh, you know, electricity is natural. Plasma is natural. Fire is natural. Ice is natural. Acid is natural. So why would we need magic? Um, you know, these things already occur in nature. And as far as the elementals, they're natural creatures. Um, we look at creatures as we look at animals, and animals are all organic. Um, but then you have like trees. They are organic, but it's a different type of organism, completely different than an animal. So what if there were mineral monsters? What if there were animals in the mineral world that were made out of minerals instead of flesh? And what if their um, hearts were nickel, or and their blood was lava or mercury, or liquid nitrogen? Um, so I'm explaining things on a natural level. I don't need magic. Um, Magic gets into uh, fantasy and stuff like that, and I'm trying to make a game that's more uh, nature and natural. Um, no magic, because then if we did have magic, then Harry Potter might want more credit.
That was hilarious. Will there be fae or fairy type dragons, not like in size, but in appearance, looking more like butterfly or pixie wings, or and with like effects instead of breaths, like spores or dust?
Uh, I don't know. Um, I'm staying away from um, any kind of dragon design that looks unnatural. Um, so if it looked like it was magical, then it's a definite no. If there's a way to make it look natural, I mean, you look like a honeybee. Honeybees got two sets of wings. Um, a lot of insects look very alien almost, or I guess some of them could even look fantasy based. If you look at insects, but they're all natural. So any dragon we make is all going to be natural. If it looks fantasy or you know unnatural, no.
Awesome. Let's see. Someone wanted to know what it was like listening to the Budapest Orchestra and Ray with playing the musical score live for the first time. They were asking you specifically.
It was awesome. Um, I'm a big fan of orchestra music and epic soundtracks, and the music was very. You can feel the emotion in the music. It's very very well done. And the main theme for the game that at the main menu is over 6 minutes long. So, and it takes you on an emotional journey from the start to the end. So over the course of 6.5 minutes, you just are there to. I mean, you're just enjoy the ride. I mean, it's a lot of people probably for the first time when you launch the game and you have that main menu theme, you're probably going to just sit there and listen to the whole 6.5 minutes before it starts to loop and play over again. It's an emotional journey. It's really epic. And then you'll go to the credits menu and you'll listen to the credits theme, and it's kind of like the grand finale to the main menu theme. It's like the cap, the ending. It's the summation of the main menu theme. It's really good.
If you count, actually, is there an opportunity for having hybrids of different types, like instead of an 8-limbed hybrid, having a 6-limbed hybrid, or something along those lines?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. If we had a six-legged dragon, I haven't really thought of a six-legged dragon or a six-limbed dragon, other than regular dragons. They have 4 legs and 2 wing arms. The hybrid would have 4 legs and 4 wing arms. Um,
I think
you
they
know,
meant like 2 legs and 4 wings. Maybe.
so like a kind of a wyvern with 4 arms and 2 legs.
Mm-hmm.
Day of Dragons. I mean, we haven't seen all the stuff that we're coming out yet. So um, that I mean, it's possible. So
Do the breath weapons have different ranges? And will there be effects if they collide?
they do have different ranges. Yes. Um, uh, Having effects when they collide would mean that the elements themselves would have collision, and um, or they would overlap. The game would have to keep track of um, the contact point when element A meets element B, and then on the overlap event or collision event, then there would be an effect that happened when that happens. So I mean, it's possible. Is it something I've thought of? No, but you just put a bug in my ear, so I'll keep that in mind as we go down the road.
Someone says, how about a combat ETA?
Soon.
You're
With
balancing it
probably
as you implement it, right? Or trying to?
Yeah, see, it's not just the combat system, it's the stats and numbers are, you have to, the dragons in the game right now, they're not balanced as far as combat goes. Um, I'm really comfortable with the stamina. I have growth times to tweak. But as far as like how much damage should this bite do, and how much damage should this dragon's bite do, and how much damage resistance should be, their base, how much damage should their fire do, how much damage should the fire damage over time do, all that is, it's going to be, I'm probably, even after I release it on the test server, even after early access hits, it's something I'm probably going to keep balancing, because no matter what the numbers look like on paper, gameplay is always going to determine what is balanced and what's not. Because I can say, well, this, look at the paper, this one has more damage, but this one has better resistance. And then you get in the game, and these dragons are just OP, so they need to be nerfed, or those other dragons are too weak and they need to be buffed. So, but combat is a lot of things. As far as the ETA, when it's done.
This is a long one. Does JO have further plans to refine the nesting system? At the moment, it does promote clan trust, but at the same time, it's PvP, and you basically can't trust anyone. Would you consider further refining it? Like allowing players to claim their own bred egg so they can improve themselves without relying on others?
I don't know. it just being able to become your own egg, that sounds kind of game breaking. I would have people just farming themselves until they get better dragons, and I think that would really break the game if we did that. So there's no plans on allowing people to hatch themselves, be their own baby.
Ooh, here's a good one. How will baby carrying work if it's added? Will we carry babies in our mouths like lions or in our claws like eagles? Or will we have a choice between the two?
It just depends. There's 3 ways that you could, or 4 ways you could carry. You could do it in the mouth. It's basically sockets. You attach. It's like an arc. You go to grab somebody and then it attaches uh, whoever you picked up to their socket on their foot. And then you carry them. So you'd either have it in their mouth, you'd have it on their feet. You might have it in depending on how many arms the dragon has, maybe they're carrying it, or maybe the baby is attached to the back or to the belly. So there's a lot of different ways, and maybe it would be different for different dragons depending on their species. And so, it'd make no sense for a drake to carry their babies on their feet because they walk on their feet. So they'd either the baby would have to, attach to its back, or it'd have to be in its mouth.
Awesome. Will there be some flying animations or skills or different kinds of flying, like to avoid attacks?
It's possible.
I wonder if they meant like do a barrel roll.
Yeah, we used to have
Dodging
barrel
them.
roll in before. Something we might put in again. What people have to understand is that the flight system is going to be a work in progress, and I'm going to constantly try to improve on it. So it's not like, oh, here's early access. This is the final version of the flight system. No, you're in early access. You're getting what it is now, but a year from now, it's probably going to be a whole lot better.
The AI concepts showed what will their natural habitat be, but when can we expect to hear what the AI will sound like?
We actually have sound effects for some of the AI. Vitalia, are you here?
Sure am.
Can you peruse the Simon's file there and see if there's any AI with sound effects? Make sure he's got that watermark background noise in there, so
Yeah.
otherwise I'll get in trouble for.
I think we have like the gross bug idle noise.
Ugh.
Does it have the background mask on it so that it's not just the raw sound effect?
Mind 1 second here.
Go ahead and ask me another question there. She's gonna look at that.
Oh, Ultimate, we were just talking about the nesting, and about nesting in yourself. Do you plan on putting on like a no incest mechanic for nesting, so you can't breed with your own parents? I think we actually talked about that at some point.
Yeah, we've talked about that question before. I might. I don't know yet.
Sorry, what was the question? I'm also typing.
No, that's
it down.
fine.
Okay.
He was asking about a no incest mechanic, so that you cannot breed with your own parents. And the answer was that might be a thing. Because now it's been discussed both ways. People want to be able to not nest with their parents, but then they also want to be able to hatch out of their own egg. So we got to figure out how to do that. How to balance it.
Oh, hey, this. Yeah, he's got the background sounds in here.
Yeah, just go for the gross bug idol one.
Okay, so this is what's the name of this thing? It's not gross bug.
It's a spiky meatball.
No,
Is it the spiky
Simon
meatball?
Dang
calls it the gross bug, but what's the official name on this?
Really? Okay, fine. It is the.
Is it the little tick-looking one?
It's the spine crab.
Okay.
The bulbous spined crab or scrab.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, the bulbous spined scrab. That's what.
Try saying that like 30
bulbous
times over.
spine scrab.
Bulbous spined scrab. That's what our zoologist has named it.
Mm-hmm.
And here, if you guys want to hear it, do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's his idol. So this is what you're gonna be.
I'm gonna play it through my system here. Let me.
Watch your dogs go absolutely nuts. What is that?
Ooh.
For the people that just came in, that was that was the bulbous spine scrab.
Bulbous
To the
spine
people
scrab.
that just came in, that was me answering questions.
Right?
It was a really funny question. I couldn't stop laughing.
Right. It was so moist sounding. Exactly, Kimmy. That's that. Thank you. Moist.
That word, though.
Oh, Crewmate missed it.
Oh, we got 2 minutes left, so one more question.
All right. One more question. Let me scroll back up here. How's this? That was already answered. There we go. Ooh. Will weather have an effect on the way you fly? Like if you're flying in heavy rain, it might be cool to see like raindrops bouncing off your wings, or it slow you down, or heavy wind can contribute to how you fly and you have to try and counter it.
I don't know. It sounds like it would eat up a lot of extra frames, and it doesn't need to. So I'm always going to put playability and performance over cool stuff. If the cool stuff negatively impacts server performance and creates a lot of lag, I'm not going to have the cool stuff. So when you make cool stuff, you want to try to get as much of it on the client as possible, so that it doesn't affect everybody else's experience on the server. So, having somebody like having the weather affect how somebody flies, you would need to be able to see that, when you're flying. So somebody besides you is having issues flying, you need to be able to see that. And so that'd have to be, there's a lot of calculations that would go into that with the, the wind, the speed, and probably, it just depends. And that's all the time we have for today.
Hey, perfect timing.
Yeah, I will leave you all with this sneak peek of the fire wyvern, and it's we're not showing the head because the head has not been finalized yet. It's close, but here's a sneak peek of the fire wyvern.
Are you putting it in Dev Q&A discussion?
Dev Q&A discussion, yeah.
Awesome.
All right, and I'm out. Thank you all for coming to the Dev Q&A. And I think we'll do another one at some point, but ask your questions in the what is it, the Dev Q&A question channel.
We will unlock it at some time later today. And
then they get voted on, right?
Correct. We unlock it for a certain amount of time. Depends on when, how many questions we acquire. Then we lock it, and after that, it's voting only.
All right. You all take care, and hopefully we don't get any trolls coming in off of this Q&A, or people chopping out things I said and putting into a troll video.
Well, it won't be me. Awesome. All right. On that note, I am going to go ahead and stop my stream for the moment. Thank you all.
Thank you all for your time.
Yes, thank you for stopping by and watching. Thank you for that, for helping type up the answers to the questions. And for accepting,
thank you all.
for accepting my idea of pulling chat questions from the Twitch chat.
Oh, of course. Yeah, no problem.
That was nice.
Thank you all for stopping by and supporting us.
And I will keep bugging Jo about sneak peeks for you guys till he tells me to shut up.
And if we don't see Jenna anymore after, then we'll know why.
Exactly. I annoyed him beyond measure.
Did you guys see the fire wyvern, or its body anyway?
I did. I'm going to post it up on my stream, actually, real quick.
We'll show you all the head and the whole thing probably next week. They go through a lot of changes. We start off with a rough concept, and then we get a lot of feedback. Parrot checks it for, make sure that it like if it can fly, if it's a big dragon, she makes sure that the wings are long enough and the flaps are sized properly, and that it could actually fly. And so a lot of thought goes into each design.
So yeah, they would be
Words are hard.
anatomically correct. I'm having like a
Anatomically correct.
Anatomically
Thank
correct.
you.
Yeah.
We were getting it. We were getting
We're
it.
almost there.
huge
Almost
drop. Thanks.
I'm letting her suffer.
Jazzy.
Jazz is letting her stroke out. That's all.
Right.
Yerka-tirka-birk.
All right, and with that little sneak peek of the fire wyvern up on my stream, I will go ahead and close it there. Thank you guys for stopping by. This video will also be posted live to YouTube, and the VOD will be available on Twitch as well. So I'll see you for the next one.
Don't forget to tip your waitresses.
Oh, and don't forget, this weekend is National Adoption Weekend.
That too.
Support your local shelters.
Kitties.